Alright, next episode of the road to $100,000 dividend portfolio. And I promised you in the last episode that we were gonna have a better environment, not home in windy Ireland anymore, perhaps Brazil, but not. This Thailand in this case. And a lot has happened on the dividend side. Let's go over some of the statistics on how the average portfolio gets there, and let's talk a little bit about the positions as well. We've seen some of them mature now, and they have delivered some of the gains that I were expecting. So as we can see, the total value of the portfolio now roughly 60,000 euros, so that's $70,000. And it's so slow in the beginning when you're going from 0 to 100, like doing it from start. I just realized that, man, it's a lot of work. And the average portfolio, when you're going to 100k, you have 20,000 in gains and then 80,000 of your own machinery. So the first 100,000 is very, very slow indeed. It's easy to get speed blind when we look at the growth portfolio, for example, but nonetheless we're doing the groundwork educationally and from start for you guys. Alright, let's take a look at some of the positions by the magic of our German superstar editor here. We can see on screen some of the larger positions. Still MPW earnings coming up here early in November, and as I talked about in a separate video, the covenant from court where they were restricted to 8 cents a share in dividend has now lifted, so that's no longer a thing. It will be very interesting to see what happens. Perhaps we get to the $100,000 goal very soon, because management of the company will only get paid stock options if the shares trade at $7 or higher. And good old El Aldag is very, very disappointed with the current stock price. So I'm expecting a lot of actions to try to make short-term boosts, and perhaps a dividend hike could be one of those cases. They just paid dividend, in my case roughly $700 landing on the account. And then from the second position, ONL, we've seen occupancy increase. This was the investment thesis. We're seeing a earnings call here in November as well. It's going to be interesting. And as I'm recording this, the dividend will hit today. 2 cents a share for each share. So 5,000 shares something, and yeah, I'm not Asian, so I'm not the best with the math, yeah. Anyways, talked a bit about United Health as well. We can see they have recovered nicely. When we first visited that stock, it was below $300 a share. Now they are trading higher, closer to 360, probably 400 quite soon as well. As we've seen, some of these allegations have been overblown. We've seen some serious claims that they write more severe injuries on the patient care list to get more out of the government from this Obamacare thing. So very, very serious allegation. We haven't seen anything from the government investigating it yet, and I believe, as in most cases, if it actually were to be true, it will just be a small slap on the wrist, like a little speed bump. Just look at what happens to the banks when they get caught for money laundering. It's just a little speeding ticket. They're still going to make a lot more money from the practice than the cost of getting caught. So, pure finance, if we look at it, if we take a look at the bond, for example, and calculate the value of it, you add the risk of default as a negative post, in the expected value, and we can do the same in the calculation here. And I think that the risk is negligible in this case. They've also been lobbying in the government, having some meetings with prominent figures over there, so I don't think it's anything to worry about. As for the future, where I will be putting the next paycheck, I've talked about this in the Discord as well, so get in there. But it will be Novo Nordisk in this case, and I'm waiting a little bit until the earnings call. The earnings call has not been announced yet. Historically, it has been on the 7th of November. It was like this in 2024, but we're gonna see if it becomes the same this year. But I've seen on LinkedIn a lot of people, especially in Denmark, getting fired. Somebody made a cake, you know, thanks for the severance package, etc., etc. And this will be a cost this quarter when they do the quarterly earnings, because it was just before the end of Q3 that all of this happened. So I believe that this will affect the operational margin. You know, it's very high, it's very high up there. But I think we could see a slight tick down here, and this could perhaps worry Wall Street and cause a further sell-off in this stock. Very small position as of now, but I'm just waiting until this earnings call is over, and then I think it will be a better buying opportunity. In terms of valuation, already looked at it. It looks cheap, it looks extremely nice. They've always had a heavy weight towards the diabetes, insulin drugs. I see Wall Street worry a lot about pipeline in this case for future drugs. But in terms of just the pure valuation, it's looking very attractive now. I like it more than, for example, Pfizer, who's already paying out a higher dividend. Novo Nordisk is doing things a little bit different, having higher dividend growth, so it's a dividend growth stock. And I mean, it doesn't take a genius to realize that one of the biggest battles of our generation is, you know, diabetes and people being too fat, and having a stock that helps out there, well, it rides on a mega trend. So that position in the portfolio will increase going forward, and hopefully we get to the goal of $100,000 sooner rather than later. Alright, that's been it for this video, and as always, hope you guys make a ton of money, whatever investments you decide to make. Take care now, bye bye.